projection.
Welcome to Taking on Sports, everybody. I'm TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing? I'm good.
I'm
yes,
good. How are
and
you
it is
tonight,
tonight,
sir?
a late Sunday night recording. So we know a little bit more about what's happened today. Still got this TCU and who the hell they play? Gonzaga. Damn, got it on TV.
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga
Yeah,
game going on. So I'm sure
down
we'll
to
talk
one.
about that as it happens. We just had Miami finish off Indiana. Indiana looked like they were about to have
Pretty
a comeback, hit
handily.
those quick 3 threes, and then Miami said, nah. But yeah, we will get to that. Let's start, of course, with the Tide, the SEC regular season and tournament champions. That's new since last time we talked.
Yeah,
Pretty, I
yes,
mean, not
sir.
they didn't breeze through the SEC tournament, but pretty much. I mean, pretty convincing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid. I mean, I guess the toughest is probably that the
Mm-hmm.
first half against Missouri was up and down. Shooting was a little off. Um, you know, but got it together in the second half. Almost kind of like how we did in Columbia. They were really gave us a game in that first half, and we, just took it to them in the second half. Got some shots when we needed it, and then I really like how we came out on Sunday, and we really done. Kind of
Yeah.
took it to A&M after like what was that 5 straight losses before that,
Yeah. They
which is kind of weird, but
got a little revenge for that regular season ending loss. Really showed out.
right,
Again, second time in 3 years they swept the SEC. And then
yeah,
exactly, that's no
regular
small
season
feat.
and conference
That's hard to do.
and tournament.
Then ended up being the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. First time that's ever true. Both being a number one seed in the overall. Beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the first round. Pretty easy win, as it should have been, despite Brandon Miller being a little hurt and
Right.
getting 0 points. Everybody else stepped up. And then just yesterday, they played 8 seed, 9 seed, whatever they were. I can't remember. Maryland. I believe they're the 8 seed, the old Terps. And kind of an ugly first half. Maryland really uglied up that game, but then pouted on the second half. Brandon Miller had a good game despite not being 100%. And then Javon Quinterly, JQ, man, he's the – if we get this JQ the rest of the tournament, look out everybody else.
JQ. All right, yeah, JQ was going crazy. Just kind of like how he did in the SEC championship game. He's like I said, he's kind of an up and down guy. He'll have an ugly one, and then he'll really put it on. When he's on, he's on, and he was definitely on yesterday. And then, in addition to that, man, I really like what Bediako did yesterday.
Yes,
Heck of
sir.
a game defensively.
Chuck is
was
putting on
doing
his
big
hard hat
things
these
there.
last few weeks, this last month or so of the season. And then JQ
Yeah,
being, Nate Oates put him back into the starting lineup. And he has really earned it.
yeah,
And he has showed off why he was a McDonald's All-American and such a big recruit and really big get for Alabama when we got him to transfer from Villanova those years back. And it means something to him. He got hurt, tore his ACL within the first 5 minutes of the first game of the tournament against Notre Dame last year.
Oh yeah, that was the main game last year.
But
Yeah.
and that's I saw something too. 3 straight games, if you're thinking about it, where we were able to put the walk-ins on the court late in the game, and that's the SEC championship game, and then the first 2 rounds of the tournament. That's pretty good.
2 rounds. That is awesome, and I really liked the crowd yesterday, man. Birmingham
Absolutely.
really showed out. It was loud.
Yeah, I know a lot of people a little worried about, Alabama doesn't historically play great in Birmingham for whatever reason, but they did this time. When they move on, they will play San Diego State, the 5 seed, in the Sweet 16 on the other side of their and then if they win that, they will play the winner of Creighton and Princeton. We'll get to the other teams in the tournament left. Staying on Alabama on the court for now. How do you like their chances? But like I said, with JQ playing like he is, and you mentioned Chuck, they come together and Brandon Miller stays healthy, and even so, not 100% yesterday. He finished at like
Hmm.
what 21 or so.
Yeah, and he, really was hitting some shots, and man, and then he's so
Mm-hmm.
dynamic when he drives
And
that
that's something
lane.
he's
Like,
really improved on over the course of the
you know,
season.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was at the start of the
Mm-hmm.
year. He wasn't good at finishing. He was kind of weak. He's really, I guess, kind of. I would probably say first part of the SEC play really, got it to, as far as figuring out how to finish at the rim. And yeah, one of the most dynamic finishers
Absolutely.
in college basketball. Once he hits that lane, he's either gonna get it or he's going to the free throw
Yeah, with
line.
his
Like there's
length,
no in
being
between.
so long, like he tall and long, is he's so hard to stop. Like he's not
Oh yeah,
getting, our guards will drive a lot. They're,
that's it.
JQ, Mark Sears, they're not afraid to drive, but their size, they get blocked a lot. Brandon
Yeah,
Miller, like you said, he's either scoring or he's getting fouled.
yeah,
Like
make
there's
a,
no in between. Um,
yeah,
or he, is using his vision and kicking out to someone wide open for a three.
yeah. 'Cause his court vision is for freshman. That court vision is top
Yeah, he's
top
making a
notch. Like
case.
it's,
I've seen a couple, NBA scouts talking. He might make a case to even jump ahead of Scoot Henderson for the number 2 pick.
I thought, yeah, it's, at the two. Yeah, I've seen him up to that two in certain things there.
Yeah,
So
without a
that's
doubt, he is
awesome.
absolutely going to be the first college player off the board in the NBA draft.
Oh yeah,
Unless, of course, he comes back for a sophomore. No, I'm just kidding. We wish, but hell, he may deliver us a national title. So, but where's your confidence in
yeah.
Alabama right now? Just making the Final Four, making winning the title.
I mean, I just like where we're at right now. Um, like we said, man, if there's a year to do it, everything's pointing that this is that year. I mean, just the way, not only just the amount of talent that's there, but they really seem to be the
Mm-hmm.
true definition of a team. No one's selfish. Everybody wants to play for each other. They want to play hard. They want to win. A lot different than that team we saw last year. There was a lot of talent there last year, but things kind of unraveled. A lot of divas,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and they really didn't have a lot of chemistry. This team has a lot of chemistry. They're hungry, and there's a lot of talent. I think that I really like our chances. We got to, based upon the seeding, got a little help as we know with, as far as the matchups with the
Mm-hmm.
likes of Arizona, and we'll talk about that going down. But I think, like I said, this is our time. We're gonna do it. This is the season. I think, as far as making the Final Four. Big thing, San Diego State, a great defensive team. So we just can't turn the ball over against them there. But I think as long as we play a clean game, I think we'll have a good
Absolutely,
chance
and
on Friday night.
uh, that Maryland game last night, started, looked a little rough early. That shooting's cold, but as Nate
Right.
Oates says, your shooting percentage doesn't tell you if you win or not; it just tells you how much you win by. So if they can play that complete game, if the
Yeah.
threes aren't falling, but they can still drive,
Yeah.
get to the line, and still have a half court
Right.
offense that works for them, then that's and play that defense that we were playing
Yeah.
so well. And that's what we did. We held Maryland below their season
Oh yeah.
average. We shut down A&M in that title game.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
pretty. We've talked about how all season long this is definitely the best tied basketball team we've probably ever seen. Yeah, top to bottom, so
Top
deep,
to bottom,
deep.
and well, and seem to be, Nate seems to be a pretty, good coach. It seems like most, at least this year, everybody's bought into
Hmm.
what we're doing there. So, just like where we're at right now. I think that they're just all, they've overcome a lot this year. They're a, mentally tough team, and I think that
Yeah, that's
they're
one
ready
thing.
to go.
Is that Auburn game toward the end of the season, second to last game of the season, showed us they're not afraid of getting down.
Oh yeah,
Now, granted, you don't want to do that too much
oh
this time
yeah.
of year, but
No, no, definitely don't want to get down double digits in the tournament. But yeah, I mean, this team has had some big
they're not going
comebacks
to stop
there, and
fighting. No.
throughout the season.
Um,
No, they're
but
definitely
yeah,
not.
before we get to the rest of the tournament, we'll go. off court real quick. We talked about it last episode for a lot longer than I thought we would. But the whole Brandon Miller thing, we knew it would follow him to the tournament. It has calmed down a little bit. Of course, there was some new New York Times piece that alleged that one of the walk-on
Yeah, it's called
Kai
that.
Spears that it was in the car when it got shot
Yeah,
up,
was in
and then
Brandon
his
Miller's car.
family, which includes his dad, is the athletic
I've
director at
already seen.
Marshall. They've come out refuted
Yeah,
that. The university come out refuted that. Yeah, his family is
yeah,
talking about legal action against the Times, which basketball players may be public figures, but then again, maybe not a walk-on guy that no one knows.
not a walk-on guy. You can't put him in that. Like that's great. Like if you don't have a definite answer on that, that's like
Yeah,
like what are you
absolutely.
guys doing?
Blaine texted me earlier this week asking if maybe I was thinking of writing something on the take for just all this Brandon Miller nonsense, and I
Mhm.
told him, I was like, man, I'm just so exhausted by it.
Yeah,
It's just like it wouldn't be nothing but 15 paragraphs
yeah,
of me dog cussing a bunch of journalists, and that have some that are supposed to be
yeah.
reputed, and they've just, it seems like that first day where that when that investigation came
Butchered
out,
it.
and that AL.com article by, I'm not even going to give her name, you know who she is, if you know who I'm talking about, their crime reporter. She just put out this clickbait article that was not accurate. And, even later that day on
At all.
Feinbaum, I had to clarify some facts, but the damage was done by then. And
Yeah, because they like the first, they almost made it seem like Brandon Miller brought his gun
no,
to
yeah,
the
and that's,
scene.
they made it seem like
I
there was
mean,
the
that's the
allegation that it was
impression I
his
get.
gun, that he was the one that said or texted, the heat is in the hat, there's one in the head,
The heat's
which
in the hat.
neither of that's true. According to, granted, it's his lawyer's statement, but his statement is that he didn't even know the gun was in the car. It was below, his Miles left it in the back seat under clothes. Yeah.
There's some
So, and
clothes.
I mean, I don't know about you. People leave things in my car. If they're going to come back later, I don't go messing with them. I don't look under their clothes. But,
Not,
he
it's not my
got
stuff.
the text
Yeah,
message when
exactly.
he was already back on the way to pick him up. He did not
Hmm.
answer that, at least not that we've seen reported yet. But then, and then there was the accusation that he blocked the car in. Well, that's just not true again, according to what we've now learned. And if you really want the best, this is really what I was getting to. I want to shout out, I believe Ryan Phillips is his name, Tuscaloosa Patch. He has done by far the
Yeah,
best actual
awesome.
journalism on this story. He broke down, he obtained the camera footage, the video evidence, actually what happened, and broke it down and created a timeline. And you just need to go read it because it really paints a different picture. It even paints one that, maybe the shooter and Miles were, maybe acting in self-defense in this, depending on,
Yeah.
what comes out. And then maybe the Tuscaloosa investigators maybe weren't as truthful as they could be on the stand. And as a friend of the take, Greg Dawkins, a public
Hmm.
defender, people doing the real good work out here, said online when someone was asking about that, he's like, tell me you're not shocked that, police will lie on the stand. Um, so yeah,
Exactly.
not always truthful. Everyone's got an agenda, but I just really want to shout him out because he's done some really great journalism on it. And just, it's really shameful what some of
Hmm.
these, a couple of AL.com guys, again, I'm not saying their names, but you know who they are. They just continued this crusade to get Brandon Miller, or he shouldn't be playing. And again, there's nothing anywhere that says that he's done anything that was worthy of a suspension, like anything, anywhere. So if people just, we'll continue seeing it. And the more Alabama wins, they'll mention it. Maybe someone will shout, Phillips out on a broadcast here, and maybe this will actually, the
Yeah,
truth
that'd be
will come
great.
out. Either way, but that's all I want to say about that. Blaine, like I
Yeah,
said, texted me early this week, and I said, "Man, I'm
for
just
sure.
so exhausted by it that I can't." That writing that, it was
Thoughts
just
about it.
literally just be
Yeah.
15 paragraphs of me cussing him. And as we
All
both
right.
were in journalism school. We both went there, and there's just, it's lazy journalism that's being put out there. We were always told to get two
Uh,
sources at least. Confirm your sources, and that seems
oh
like
yeah.
everyone's just getting their one anonymous source and then report on it now, and that's just, the bullshit nature of
Yeah.
the game now with clicks and views, and it's not about quality, it's about quantity, or yeah, and then how fast you can get it out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
about the clicks and how much you can get it out and how shocking of a headline can you
But yeah,
give,
we've
you
had
know.
journalists, ask
It's like
JQ,
that
does he own a gun? Like he wasn't even that.
yeah, what was that?
It's
Like what
yeah,
is that?
it's
Like what does that have to do with anything? If he
it's
does,
yeah,
big
and
deal.
not one again. I think I mentioned this last time too, but not one of them has written a story about gun culture in America and its effects on youth, particularly black youth. It's
Yeah,
just not. You can jump on your soapbox and
exactly.
pretend to crusade all you want, but if you're still calling for suspension right now, you're kind of showing yourself.
Like, or honestly, even talking about
Hmm.
it every game. Like, if you followed anything, you don't have to be a college basketball fan. You know the story. Like, we know everybody knows who Brandon
Hmm.
Miller is. Everybody knows something about what happened. Like, until we get something new, just talk about Alabama
Exactly.
basketball during the game. There's not three times to mention the story. And the NCAA tournament's done a little
Hmm.
better job with it. During the SEC, it seemed like every game of the SEC tournament, and just randomly in the middle of the game, it was just
Here's the
back in
timeline of
January. But
events.
like, come
Yeah,
on, man.
that kind of mess. And yeah, they didn't. I noticed they didn't do that yesterday.
Yeah,
So good. So maybe it's finally starting.
yeah.
That kind of bullshit starting to calm down.
Just at least stand away from it. I mean, it's been enough talk about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Let it until we hit unless there's something new or breaking or there's no reason to talk about it
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah. And so
But
that's just want to get that piece out there. There you go, Blaine. We
oh yeah,
properly cussed. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not mentioning their names, but they know who they are. We know who you are. AL.com.
they know
It's a shame that
exactly.
AL.com is where most Alabamians get their journalism, their news from, because they are not
Mm.
doing anybody justice. And there's one put out. That's one last one thing I want to shout out because that was the impetus. Blaine sent me a text from, I believe her name. I want to get it right here. Look it up real quick, but I believe it's Hannah Stevens, and I think she has a show. Um, let's see. Let me go.
Is Hannah Stevens that? What's the
She
name,
has
girl?
a show, I believe. I'm not sure, but she said she had a great tweet. Where did it go? I've lost it now. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It is. Her name is Hannah Stevens. It said, I wish Cecil Hurt was still alive. He would be writing about this situation with much more dignity and class. In a
Oh
world full of Goodmans, be a Cecil. And she's absolutely right.
oh yeah.
Cecil Hurt would definitely bring a very nuanced and mature, uh, and introspective view to this. And it's a
Oh
shame that we
yeah.
lost him. Um,
Yeah, he was a
yeah, not
one of
only
a
for that, but
kind.
it's a shame we lost him before this season. Just
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
would have
great.
loved
So,
this
like you said,
season.
hopefully they can just talk about on the court stuff. Literally the best team in school history. They've broken the records for wins in a season. Um,
Yeah, up to
what,
30
ninth
wins.
Sweet 16 in school history now, and already
Yeah, two out
two
of
out of
three
three,
years.
and in his four full seasons as a coach now. Nate Oates has made more Sweet 16s than Bruce Pearl has in his 9 at Auburn. Just should be noted. But yeah, so we'll get back to the on the court stuff. We'll go with the rest of the tournament now. We'll go region by region here. I mentioned in our region, San Diego State is our opponent. I'm not sure what date they've not.
Yeah.
I would assume Thursday, but
I
is it
think it's
really
Friday.
okay? I say
Actually,
they. I haven't
I,
seen anything
I
officially
thought it was
announced
Friday
yet.
at the
But
beginning.
and then the other side,
Yeah,
Creighton and
I thought it's on
Princeton.
Friday.
Princeton, 15
Mm-hmm.
seed, upsetting Arizona, one of the
I
title favorites in the first round, and then going on beating
yeah,
Missouri in the second there. Um, yeah,
dominated
a
Missouri.
15-point win that they're not running that quite that old school Princeton backdoor offense still, but
No, this is a much. I don't know. They're much different than when they beat UCLA back in like
yeah,
'96 and that slow 48 point offense that they ran. But yeah, much. They're definitely a talented team. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to think Arizona, just won the Pac-12, beat UCLA in the title game, and I was thinking, man, I'm not. That might be a tough one to get through to the Final Four. You know, Bama's going to make it, but yeah, Princeton with that, just you know, held on there.
Yeah,
You know, got out to the lead, and you know, Arizona made a comeback, but able to hold on there. And that's what you love to see in March right
exactly.
there.
Yeah, as much as it bust your bracket up, you know you kind of fill out your bracket and hope you win, but then you root for the upsets anyway. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah, but
definitely.
yeah. So Alabama left now with you know Creighton went through Baylor, and I thought that was a much. I don't like Creighton. You know, we owe
They
them a
handled
little
Baylor.
revenge from about what 10, 12 years ago when we lost to them in the tournament.
Yeah, we did on the last.
Yeah,
Um, it was the last second shot that
yeah.
beat us there. Yeah, and then they busted our head in the
Oh, that's
NIT
right.
game.
I
A
do
couple
remember
years
that.
after
Yeah.
that, I went to that
Oh
game.
no.
Sadly,
Well, Gonzaga making a little run, open up some space here.
yeah,
But yeah, they
they
Baylor was a team that I was kind of a little worried about. Their guards would really give us trouble, I think. So that Creighton did us a favor there.
and
So
Keontae
Alabama left.
and that freshman
hmm
Keontae George.
So Alabama left with the 5, 6, and 15 seeds in their region. You know, I'm sure if they get out, you know, people, you know, whatever. Hey, that's a tournament.
Oh,
It's a
it's the
tournament.
weakest
Yeah.
division ever.
I've already
Hey,
seen that a bunch
that's
of people being like,
that's
it's
how it
you know, it's a
goes.
down year in college, but so what? Everybody's down. So you know, we stepped up. That's what you do. You got to step up when
Yeah,
it's down, and
exactly.
Alabama stepped up. Uh,
And I wouldn't even necessarily say it's down. I think it's just very
exactly. There's more
balanced.
parity.
You know, some of your blue bloods aren't a lot of some of your blue bloods aren't what we thought weren't up to what they normally are. You know, that happens time to time. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing lost in the tournament. I mean, in March is March. Upsets happen, and you know, it's just a matter of who answers the call, who steps up when the pressure comes, and you know, hey, we're still going to have a great tournament either way. It's going to be some memorable games, and if the Blue Bloods didn't make it, or you know, weren't able to get through, that you know, that's not our fault.
Exactly. Yeah. You only you know we talk about like strength of schedule in football a lot. You can only beat the teams that are you're playing. So
That are in front of you. Yeah,
do I hope that Princeton you know upsets Creighton and we you know beat San Diego State play Princeton? Hell yeah. But
absolutely. Why not? Who wouldn't
exactly.
want that? But either way, you know,
Moving on, we'll move on to the Midwest. Houston, another you know big title favorite. They've cruised through their first rounds. They were down 10 at half to Auburn last night, and then just poured it on the second
yeah,
half.
they were.
Outscored them like
They said, wait. They said,
yeah,
wait a
outscored
minute.
them 50-23 in the second half. Just really whooped them. They were going to play Miami. We mentioned Miami beat Indiana earlier today, and the other side of that bracket, 2 and 3 seeds, Xavier and Texas, the 2 seed there. So pretty much chalk in that region. Um, Houston probably the favorite still, you know, and they're one of the title favorites.
But I would probably, yeah, but that's
That's
definitely a
tough.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see either four of those teams coming out. I mean, quietly, you know, Xavier for the last, they're actually, you know, a pretty solid team. They don't get a lot of the
hmm
hype, but I mean, they're there in the Sweet 16, Elite Eight a lot. So, I mean, they're definitely a well coached bunch. And then, you know, Miami. When Miami's on, they're
Yeah.
scary.
They're
They're
ACC
good.
regular season champs for a reason. You know, Texas, a
Yeah.
supremely talented team. That yeah, like you said, any four of those
Oh
teams
yeah.
can come out and pose a threat in the Final
Yeah.
Four.
You know.
You know, Xavier can't call them mid major anymore. They're in the Big East now, even though you know Big East isn't what it used to be.
Right.
You know, for years,
I mean, it's
yeah, they're a
still, you
consistent
know,
program. They
decent conference.
even back when
Oh
they were
yeah,
they're in the Atlantic 10 back in the day.
yeah. I mean they still were Sweet 16, Elite
hmm
Eights a lot. I mean they've been a good program over the last 20 years. Maybe one of the more consistent programs, and it doesn't necessarily get a
hmm
lot of hype, but they're definitely a solid program.
Absolutely. So yeah, those would be two fun games to watch. Should be really good games in that region.
Oh yeah,
We'll move to the East region now, where one seed Purdue, whew, joined a club that you do not want to join,
Oh
an
boy.
exclusive club of only them in Virginia, the only one seeds in
Yeah.
NCAA history to lose to the 16 seed. And they lost
Mm,
to
mm,
Fairleigh
mm.
Dickinson. And as I told my wife, she was asking about it, I will give you $100 right now if you can tell me where that is, because I have no idea.
I do know it's
Is
in
it
New
New? It's
Jersey.
in New Jersey. All right. Uh,
Do know that just because I heard it the other day.
uh,
During the game.
so
But
they upset them, and they didn't run them off the court, but Fairleigh Dickinson kind of controlled that game for the most part.
they did
An
control the game.
undersized, just a bunch of small kids, and just for all the Purdue's talent and height, and probable player of the year, Edie on their team.
And seven
Yep,
four.
yeah, they cut him down to
And
size,
you
like Rey
just
Mysterio beating
yeah, they did.
heavyweights. Yeah,
Kevin
exactly.
Nash.
And they lost to 9 seed FAU, Florida Atlantic, in the round of 32.
Yeah.
FAU will go on to play
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, who beat Duke uh, in Louisiana on their way. And Tennessee, Nate Barfield,
Yeah.
friend of the take, said
Tennessee.
what Tennessee does to the game of college basketball should be, they should be ashamed of themselves. They just ugly it up so much.
Yeah, they do. Like that defense is
It is very
nasty.
nasty. Of course, they lost his name's escaping me right now.
The
Yeah,
point
they
guard.
lost him for the year, so that's a
Yeah.
big loss for them going forward.
That's a
But they
tough
should beat
blow.
FAU and get into the Elite Eight there, where they
Yeah,
would,
I would think
yeah,
so.
they would face the winner of Kansas State and Michigan State. Kansas State beat Kentucky. It
It's a good
was a real
game.
good game earlier today. A Kentucky team that had gotten hot late in the year too, and I know a lot of people had them making a run despite their early struggles. But Kansas State's a really good team too, and then Michigan State is just the one Big Ten team you can honestly count on come this time of year.
Oh yeah.
Tom Izzo is Tom Izzo for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Back to the Sweet 16 for the millionth
Exactly. It
time.
seems like they just have a permanent standing in the Sweet 16. They might as well get a bye. But they went through USC and then beat 2 seed Marquette today, a team kind of a lot of media darling. A lot of
A lot
people,
of people were excited about. Yeah.
but they controlled that game. So that it's another good region. Like we said, Tennessee should probably take care of FAU, but it is March. You never know. But I don't know. Of those like 3 teams, that it could be anybody.
Yeah. I was really hoping though that Memphis was going to get through because Memphis, Tennessee had that heated.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some heated basketball games in the past. There, I would have liked to have seen that, but FAU, they're a good team there. They ran through the still the Conference USA. Some of those made where conferences did, but they beat it. They dominated a good UAB team in that
Mm-hmm.
championship game, and I was like, man, they might make some noise because UAB was a decent
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
team.
you would be a
They
team that
ran through them in
could
that.
make an argument they got snubbed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Memphis game, they blew that lead late.
man, that pass and everything. Yeah, Memphis should have won
Yeah.
that game, but Florida Atlantic came through when they needed
Mm-hmm.
to, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, you would think Tennessee beats them, but the thing with Tennessee is as ugly as they make a game, sometimes their offense is just as ugly. And if they're not on, like they could go long spurts without scoring. That's been their downfall and their losses a lot this season. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. They were able to slow Duke down, make it ugly, and
They dominated Duke.
dominated. Duke was just frustrated. Another team that, like Kentucky, maybe hadn't had the greatest year, but was really hot coming in. They had won like 10 in a row coming in the tournament.
10 in a row and won the
Mm-hmm.
ACC tournament. Even though ACC was down, I mean, still a good, good run for the new coach there. For first coach have ever won the ACC tournament in their first season there. So big shoes to fill there. But but Tennessee.
No, yeah, that's another couple of good games. Should be. We'll move to the West region now. Another 1 seed that went down. Kansas went down to Arkansas. Arkansas with a good comeback win.
That was a game.
Hell of a game. They will move on to face our nemesis, UConn, our personal nemesis. Just never have liked UConn, but uh, UConn today pulled away from St. Mary's. It was close for a little bit, and they pulled away in the second half. They're another ones. I kind of slept on Arkansas. Actually, I think I had them even losing to Illinois first round. That shame on me for picking a Big Ten team. But Arkansas, started off hot, kind of cooled off with SEC play, but they got what's his damn name back? They got that their own star freshman back late in the season, and that's really kind of put them in another gear. So that should be a good game against UConn. UConn team, a lot of people are favoring to kind of make a run themselves.
That'll be a good one, yeah, because, I mean, yesterday Debo took over that game for Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Him and, I can't think, what's his name, the fourth. They really were clutch, and that's the second half of it with that comeback. I mean, this was a Kansas team, even without Bill Self, like no one expected them to lose. And the 32, the defending national champs, a team that had not lost a game, went up at halftime all season, up double digits, and Arkansas able to make that comeback. Kansas helped them out a little bit with the missed free throws, but, man, Arkansas showed a lot of heart. And Arkansas is a team. If you're a fan, I mean, my mom's a big Arkansas fan, went there, so it's cool watching the game with her, but, just frustrating for them because they're so talented. But they've had an issue with finishing games a lot this year. That's been their downfall.
Yeah, but we'll see if maybe they've turned that around. Could make a little run as an 8 seed. The other side of that bracket, 2 seed UCLA, they've handled their business.
They're done what they need to do.
Yeah, played a good game against Northwestern yesterday. They await the winner of this game, currently still going on, Gonzaga and TCU. Gonzaga up 5-7.
On 7
just now 7.
Couple seconds. Oh, yeah, 7.
Timmy just got a rebound with a little under 5 minutes to go here.
He's been there 20 years, I swear.
Yeah, Drew Timmy was a roommate of Adam Morrison.
I swear.
Well, that's a good hustle play right there. Oh, got to finish though. So yeah, that could be interesting. TCU can make a run. They could be have themselves a good old football and basketball season, or we could see Gonzaga, UCLA, a good West Coast. Speaking of Adam Morrison, that was one of the better games in tournament history. That UCLA Gonzaga game, the Bruins pulled it out late. Some 16 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, and even 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
when Gonzaga beat them with the half court shot.
That's right. Yeah, so some history there with those two basketball programs, but
yeah, definitely history.
Again, those are either way. Yeah, another couple set of good games. We really got. Despite losing a couple 1 seeds and a couple of tournament favorites, there should be a lot of exciting basketball still.
Yeah, a lot of good teams, a lot of good matchups. I mean, that tournament never misses. I mean, no matter who's in it, it's still gonna get the numbers. It's still gonna get the watches. I mean, you can't miss on the NCAA tournament either way it goes.
No, absolutely not. So you got give me a little Final Four prediction then.
Final Four prediction. I think Bama. I think UCLA. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be a little. People can say, "Oh, SEC homer." I'm gonna go Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna go Arkansas.
No, wait, no. UCLA, Arkansas, same.
Wait, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, duh. No, so UCLA, Bama, Tennessee,
and then you got the Houston, Miami, Xavier, Texas.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna go Texas. Okay. Texas playing some good ball. Yeah, I don't know why I said Arkansas, but yeah, I think Texas is gonna win. I mean, they've been really good this last month of the season there, and I would say if I'm Texas, man, give this guy the head coaching job.
Oh yeah,
he's come in after Chris Beard situation. I mean, he's just nothing missed. He just stepped right in there. The team seems really like him, and I mean he has Texas in the Sweet 16 for the first time in a while there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's saying a lot.
I'm about to say, yeah, and if they don't, somebody will snatch him up. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's done a great job. Let's see. I guess I can still got 3 of my Final Four picks when I
Oh,
originally
nice.
filled it out. So I'll go Alabama, Houston, UConn,
Mm-hmm.
and then in that East region, I think I had Duke. Yeah, I had Duke
Mm-hmm.
over Kentucky. So I will go. You know what? Man, it's Kansas State has impressed me, but I don't know. Something about Tom Izzo. I'm going to say that Michigan State. Just something about them. You know,
Yeah,
he might take advantage of this
Michigan State.
opportunity right here.
Exactly.
You know, and that's a team like say they face Tennessee. They're not Michigan State's not afraid to get ugly either. So that's a
No, they're not. Yeah, they'll definitely get it just as ugly as
mm-hmm,
because they don't mind winning a 48-6 game either. So
not at all. They you want to get in the mud with them, they're perfectly fine doing that.
yeah.
But so speaking of brackets, I know mine is oof, just no, not good. How's yours doing?
Actually, I didn't do any traveling and all.
Oh no.
I chalk it up to this is our year, so I didn't want to jinx this anywhere.
I thought about that, and actually Blaine even said that's why he didn't pick us to win in his. And he is actually tied. I think tied for right at the. He's right up here in the Taking on
Nice.
Sports group on ESPN.
Nice.
Getting up there, but yeah, mine is just not. I had a couple. It started Friday night when Memphis and Arizona State blew those leads late, and then I just have
Oh
cratered
yeah.
this weekend. Just nothing going right for me. But
How it goes.
yeah, exactly. It's
Once
just
your first seems like sometimes once that first one goes,
mm-hmm.
the dominoes right behind them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just snowball effect.
Exactly.
Just goes on and on. I don't know. I'm looking at the group now. I do not know. It's somebody with a ESPN and a bunch of numbers name that's
Oh,
in the lead for the group right now, 10 points ahead of Blaine.
nice.
However, this person has, let's see, only one. Houston is their only pick in the Final Four left, so that's going to cost them a
Mm,
lot of points there.
that's the key to a lot. That's the key to everything.
Mm-hmm.
In tournament, no matter the upsets, if you can keep your Final Four teams alive, that's the key to the bracket.
Yeah, and they only have 4 of their Elite 8 teams left too. So they do have Houston winning the whole thing, but yeah, now they I do think they
Take
might.
a little tumble.
Yeah, they're going to take a tumble. I
Yeah,
believe I was looking to let's see. I think Blaine's in good. Blaine and Jeff, a longtime friend of the take, he is up there right there with Blaine. Blaine has got, let's see,
mm,
he's got 3 of his Final Four picks. Marquette is gone, and he's got, let's see, 5 of his Elite 8 teams left. So and he's
that's
he
not
got
bad at
hurt in
all.
the Purdue. He had Purdue in the 8. Ooh,
Mm.
yeah, that'll sticking.
And you know the funniest thing about that Purdue game is Fairleigh Dickinson wasn't even a conference champion. They got there by default because they lost to
That's
the
right.
conference champion and they couldn't go because of that stupid rule that you have to be in the Division One X amount of years before you can.
Yeah, Merrimack.
Merrimack
Mm-hmm.
is actually the conference champ, which further puts salt in the wound.
Yeah, that's oh yeah. I said that should have been us. But yeah, so we'll see what goes on in the old tournament challenge
Yeah,
here. Those are your leaders right now.
nice.
I'm still hoping to see if I got. I just need some things to go my way. But yeah, well,
Wow.
yeah, but that's I believe that's it for the old college game right now. Definitely don't want to talk about my bracket in the women's tournament. Oh man, it was rough.
And man, talking about the women that just saw that upset come across.
Oh, who was it? I
Ole
missed it.
Miss beat Stanford.
Oh,
Ole Miss beat Stanford. Then that 1-8 matchup. That's a big one.
that is a big.
Wow.
Yeah, I know on ESPN, you either get a little flame or a little ice cube next to your name if you're, doing really well. And
Ice Cube everywhere,
ice cube just everywhere on my women's one. Actually, I think I got it off
huh?
now, doing a little better. But that was after the first 2. Like I said, up until those last 2 games
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, I had a little flame on my men's bracket, and I had the
Mm-hmm.
ice cube bracket. Just whew.
Mm.
I actually think I had Stanford in my. Oh no, I did not have them in my Final Four. So that don't hurt too much for me. Okay. I still got my Final Four alive, and I went with South Carolina because, yeah, that
That's what you got to do.
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Don't be
the
smart.
record says otherwise.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I can make a comeback here. I still got all my Elite Eight teams still alive in the women. Okay,
Look at that.
I might come back
See?
here. Of course, now I say that like
Like,
half of them are going to lose tomorrow.
yeah.
Trying to see is that any other big upsets going on in the women's game here. I don't think really I've seen anything that was shocking. Had a 12-5 upset Toledo over Iowa State. The
Mhm.
Princeton women, beat NC State. They got, Utah beat them today. LSU's rolling
And they
along.
gave them a game, though.
Yeah,
They were hanging with Utah for a little bit.
they did. Oh yeah, Florida Gulf Coast made a little. They upset Washington State on 12-5.
Nice.
Not quite slam dunk you, but
Mhm.
all right.
And
Well,
that's the one thing on the men's side. No 12-5 this year at all. That was weird.
yeah, it really was. We got we got the big ones instead. But
Yeah, got the 1, 2, and a 4.
yeah,
Boom.
and that's the thing about going back to Miami's run too. A lot of people I saw on their bracket, I had Miami winning. I think I had them losing Indiana today, but
Mhm.
a lot of people had Drake beating Miami.
Yeah, that was a popular pick.
I think it was the most
A lot of
popular
people like.
12-5 I saw. Yeah,
Hmm.
but we will move on from the NCAA tournament. We will move to real quickly. We'll go over some NFL news. Free agency has finally started. Let's see, I'm just looking for some bigger things going on and see the Cowboys trading for Brandon Cooks.
Brandon
Um,
Cooks,
yeah, that'll be
solid.
that's kind of
Still a
admitting they
solid
made a
wide
mistake.
receiver.
Yeah, that's kind of making up for trading away maybe Amari Cooper. Um,
Yeah, it's great. Brandon Cook is only 29. I guess the amount of teams he's been on, it seems like you said 35, but he's not that old.
yeah, he is
Not as old as that.
a journeyman receiver for sure, but he's still got some
Well,
gas
puts
in the
up
tank.
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, consistently
Outside of
solid.
outside of outside of last year, we only had about 700. He's had quite a few 1,000-yard seasons. So I
Hmm.
mean, I like it. Good addition to go with CD and see where it goes. But not able, not able to split some of that salary with the Texans, not giving up too much as far as draft picks. Fourth, fifth. So I'd say not. I mean, a solid pickup there. The guy that's healthy there. I know we were linked with OBJ at times, but I'm just concerned more with his health. But I like the pickup, and hopefully we'll see where that leads.
Yeah, for sure. He's still OBJ's still one of those guys that hasn't quite been signed yet. Just running through this list real quick. Other say the Patriots have picked up Mike Gesicki and Juju Smith-Schuster. Try to get old Mac Jones some weapons.
Hmm.
Let's see. Orlando Brown Jr. going to the Bengals. Try to help that offensive line out.
That's big. That's
That's a
huge
big
for
sign.
them.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I got that update and kind of cussed a little bit as a
Yeah, I bet.
Ravens fan. I'm like, that's damn. Didn't want them to go to that.
Mm.
Let's see. The Panthers got Miles Sanders. Saints get Jamal Williams. That might be a sneaky good pick right there. Pick up right there.
The Panthers also got. I thought I saw Adam Thielen went there
They
this
did. Yeah, they
afternoon.
actually. Yeah, that is just the is. I don't think they've made it official yet, but that is the big word. Yeah, Adam Thielen released by the Vikings will go play for the Panthers now. The Saints, I mentioned Jamal Williams, of course, their big one, Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
He is now the quarterback in New Orleans. His old team, the Raiders, picked up Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, so yeah, that's we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Commanders
So
got Jacoby Brissett. That's an interesting one there. Let's see. Baker Mayfield to the Bucks, another big one.
he might be the starter down there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who
They
would.
have him and Kyle Trask.
Yeah,
And I
unless
don't know
Trask just beats him out, but that seems like they're signing him. The Cowboys another trade. They're getting Stephon Gilmore for a 5th round
yeah,
pick, so that's not too bad at all.
not too bad.
The Jets are, they signed Alan Lazard, and of course the big rumor is Aaron Rodgers he's trying to force a trade to the Jets, but we'll see. I think there's a lot of work to be done there between them and Green Bay.
That's funny. They made it seem that it was so official, and that's kind of you keep on waiting for the final thing. Did they sign? Did they? No,
Not
still
yet, yeah,
waiting.
still just waiting, Another trade, the Giants traded for Darren Waller, one of the better tight ends in the league. Give old Danny Dimes someone to throw to. They did resign Danny.
Devontae is like, why did I come to Las Vegas?
Yeah, exactly. He might force himself out.
Yeah,
Trade there. The Raiders did pick up Jacoby Myers to give Devontae some help or replace him, sort of. Let's see. Marcus Davenport to the Vikings, a big edge rusher there. Patrick Peterson to the Steelers, at the tail end of his career. That's a pretty good pickup for
still,
them.
yeah.
Let's see, going through all this list here. Trying to find a big one. The Falcons signed Jesse Bates, big safety. Definitely need some defensive help on that team.
And they signed their quarterback too. Who was the quarterback that they got in Atlanta?
It is, yeah, they did. I'm blanking on that myself. They did sign someone. There's no rhyme or reason to this. They also they got Jonnu Smith from the Patriots for their tight end position. Our boy Daron Payne, Alabama man, got himself paid by
Got
Washington.
paid. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, 4-year, $90 million contract. Big one, Jalen Ramsey got traded to the Dolphins. That's a big pickup for the Dolphins right there.
Man, that secondary. Wow, that's a solid secondary.
Yeah. Of course, another big news we haven't touched on yet. The Panthers traded up to get the number 1 pick from the Bears. They traded DJ Moore, their number 9 pick, their second round pick, and then a first and second rounder in the future.
And they gave a lot for that first round pick.
Mm-hmm. So you
and
wonder. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's see what they do. But I think they're gonna. I don't know. Something tells me they're not gonna go with the two obvious. The two
No.
who you would. I just don't think they're gonna go with either one of those guys. I think they're
Hey,
gonna go with that AR-15. Something just tells me.
Anthony Richardson first. Oh man, that'd be something. If they traded all that to pick him or Will Levis,
I don't
you
know.
didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that.
Something just tells me that's what the move is, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. The mocks, most of the mocks I've seen have them picking C.J. Stroud, but
yeah.
that's either way, they're making a move. That NFC South is just wide open, and they're making their move. So at least give them credit for that.
Yeah, and, I think the Bears came out strong in their move. I mean, they still, they didn't need that pick because, of course, we know they still have their quarterback. I mean, they finally got a number 1 in DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's once you won, they still, had that 9th pick. And I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, just looking at what could happen with the Panthers, I mean, that could be a high pick next year too, just depending on how their season goes. So,
yeah, absolutely. Still waiting to see. Some guys out there still, waiting at Team Dalton Schultz, Bobby Wagner. Let's see, Odell Beckham we mentioned before. Yannick Ngakwe, the edge rusher. Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback. DJ Shark, Jadeveon Clowney, Marcus Peters, Teddy Ballgame, Teddy Bridgewater. There's still some notable free agents out there, and then there's the Ravens. They and this is all just unrestricted free agents too. The Ravens put the non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, which means that other teams have the right to negotiate with him, and then the Ravens can either match the offer or get 2 first-round picks from that team, which you would think the Ravens would try to match anything because 2 first-round picks is just not enough compensation.
No, at all.
And also I think it's a kind of a chess move by Ravens management to say that, all right, if you think you're worth Deshaun Watson money, go out there and see if someone is willing to pay you for it. And I just don't think.
I just hate how they put. I mean, they're putting. I understand the business aspect of it all, but you're putting this guy, because and you have to think just with how the NFL is, the way
Hmm.
Lamar has it set up with his mom doing a lot of his business. That a lot of teams are not taking that seriously. I can see them, blowing that off, or that's just his mom. It's not. If he had a actual, male, agent, I think we're talking way differently. But a lot of teams seem to have almost come together and say, "Hey, man, we're not going to give this man his money." It seems like a lot of people are they know that they need a Lamar Jackson, just not acting like they're at all interested or saying no to it, which is, kind of ridiculous. But I just think
No,
a
and
lot of
there's definitely kind of a little almost outright, in the open collusion kind of as soon as they
yeah,
announced the
exactly.
non-exclusive tag, like 5 or 6 teams came out and said, "Oh, we're not going to pursue him." And teams that
Like,
need, like the Falcons and the
yeah,
Colts, teams that need.
like stop it, y'all.
Oh,
Come on,
Taylor Heineke, that's who the Falcons picked up.
that's that. Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of weird. You think that? I mean, the Commanders don't necessarily have their guy,
Hmm.
but Heineke. I mean, he's a solid. He's had some solid moments. I just think it's a matter he doesn't have what it takes to be the guy. But I mean, he's someone who can step in and patchwork, get some. He's not going to necessarily lose you a game. He's more of a game manager than anything. But yeah, we'll see. But I'd have to think that Atlanta's long term, they really believe in that. His
Des
rookie out of
Ritter.
Deseret. And I
Mhm.
didn't understand the hype with him last year, but hopefully it works out for him.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if maybe they try to make a move in the draft or do
Yeah,
something to pick up a quarterback there. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying about Lamar too. Like, there's probably a little bit of that going on, and as a Ravens fan, as a lot of them have said, just pay him. I mean, he's worth it. I mean,
just give the man his money. You see, some of these other guys have gotten some big money, and it's like, dude, he's better than this guy, this guy, this guy.
yeah.
Like everybody's getting paid.
So yeah,
Just how the NFL is. You pay the quarterback whether they're if they're your number one guy, you're paying them. And there's way worse have gotten paid than Lamar
it,
Jackson. Let's just say that
exactly.
we all know
And who have done
that.
a lot less, and it's
I
we
mean,
have enough.
Kyler Murray got big money last
Exactly.
year.
We've seen the same. Yeah, and Kyler Murray's never has he even made the playoffs. If he has, they haven't won a game. Um,
Yeah, they got blown out by the Rams last year.
yeah, it's true. Certainly hasn't, won a unanimous MVP, and then
No,
certainly is not. You just look at the win loss, and the difference in offensive production
oh
when Lamar plays versus when he doesn't for the Ravens. And I get
exactly.
if maybe the last 2 seasons injuries give you a little bit of hesitancy, but you have to find a way to
You
meet in the middle
have to
somewhere, even if that middle leans more toward him.
exactly.
And I get not wanting to give that Deshaun. They believe the Deshaun Watson contract is an outlier and won't,
I
isn't
mean,
the
it,
new
long term,
norm.
it probably is.
Right. But you got to find a way to pay them. I mean, do something. I mean, you're in the same cities where Under Armour is based. Work out some
Yeah,
huge endorsement deal with them to get him, make up for some of that money.
exactly.
Put a bunch of incentives in there that make them, or put yourself some like backdoor fail safes that this money is guaranteed unless you miss so and so many games.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you do what you can for a guy like Lamar Jackson, like you mentioned, in a league that's so dependent upon your quarterback. You pay him. Look what the Chiefs did. They
Yeah,
paid
they
Patrick Mahomes.
paid Patrick. You see what
Hmm.
Patrick's done. I mean,
Exactly. I mean, hell,
all the quarterbacks that are worth anything. I mean, Danny Dimes got paid. Not that Danny Dimes is a bad quarterback, but he's not Lamar
mhm,
Jackson. And that man
exactly.
made one playoff. I mean, not no fault of his own. He's been in a terrible situation at times in New York, but still, I mean, he got paid off one good season. We've not seen Lamar do a lot more than
Hmm.
okay. Like it's just mind blowing. And at the end of the day, like we had said before, if another team happens to make that move and gets Lamar and he stays healthy, wins a Super Bowl, who's the dumbest who's the dumbest front office man? The cost,
Exactly. Yeah, that's we talked about last time. If you let go of Lamar and then he goes on to do what everyone thinks he can do, that's your legacy. You're the guy who didn't resign Lamar, who traded Lamar, who let Lamar go.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
That's
yeah,
something you want on your resume.
yeah, exactly. And other than that, nothing really to talk about. A little buzzer beater for show here, but
Yeah.
so Gonzaga is moving on to the Sweet
Oh,
16, eighth straight.
that might be a
Mm.
bad beat right there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. I wonder what the spread in that game is. Yeah, a little TCU hits a meaningless buzzer beater, cuts it to 3 points. But oh,
Man.
actually, I'm gonna check that real quick now. Let's see that. That'll be interesting. I can look up that line real quick. Let's see this game. Oh, it is. Gonzaga was favored by 4.5.
Hilarious.
Oh,
Hilarious.
oh no. That went
Hilarious.
from a 6 point game to a 3 point win. Oh
Boom.
no.
Sure. Wow.
Someone just threw something somewhere.
Oh, man. Especially if
Oh
that's all you
man.
went for on your parlay.
No, no, yeah. That just cost someone a parlay. That just cost someone some good money. Oh, Scott Van Pelt's gonna have that on his
Oh,
bad
yeah,
beats
yeah.
segment for sure.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
But
If
yeah.
you didn't watch play too, they just TCU just they had no chance really, just rolled the ball forward and Gonzaga just let it roll over half court. TCU guy picked it up and just chucked it in.
Chucked it through. Good game, though.
Oh
I mean,
man.
TCU gave me a game.
hmm Yeah. That's
Exactly.
it. Gonzaga's a hell of a program.
Yeah.
They've never quite gotten over that last hurdle, winning the title. But
I
that's like
mean,
I said, ninth straight was it eighth, ninth straight Sweet 16.
yeah, that's something impressive. Yeah, they always say, oh, they
Mhm.
come out of that weak West Coast conference, but they're a team
Yeah, but
that's
time and time again.
time and time again of several Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, Final Fours, just haven't gone over the title, haven't won the title. They're a they're a team that maybe not necessarily as talented on paper as what they were last year, or when they lost to Baylor in the national title game. But their
Mhm.
experience, have one of the best coaches in college basketball. I mean, I wouldn't want to play him.
No, yeah. That's it for that FA. Let's see, random off court stuff. Chris Beard, mentioned his dismissal from UT, his legal troubles. All those charges were dismissed, and Ole Miss promptly
Oh,
hired him to be their new basketball coach. Um, so
now
we'll see. That's he.
where's the anger with that? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Didn't see much about that, and that's Um, and the charges were dropped to his, but that the initial police report is pretty
wasn't a good one.
gruesome. Yeah,
It
it's
didn't
not a good look really for
more.
Ole Miss. But
Hey,
as Holly Anderson says, from shut down full cast and old from a million things she's done, but she says these we always try to find a reason why these teams do it, and they come out and they say, well, we vetted, we did interviews and stuff. She say, let's just call it is what it is. We did it because we can.
yeah, we did it
And
because we can, and he was
yeah,
a big name, and we're trying to make that
and
splash
yeah,
higher.
exactly. And Ole Miss really hasn't been relevant in basketball since what was that? Marshall Henderson.
And that was a fun tournament
Uh,
run when he went on that SEC tournament run.
yeah,
Quite the
it was,
character. Quite the
and
character.
always a fun gif to that one of him pissing off Auburn
Oh
fans.
yeah. Is that where he
Always a
jumped?
fun one.
Is
But
that the
yeah,
one he jumped on the table, right?
yeah, and you can see the old man stand up, yell at him, and a couple of the students flipping him the finger. That got them so mad.
He was
Uh,
he was a character.
What else? I just saw something else coaching off the court. Oh, Rick Pitino. It looks like
Yeah,
he would be
going
the
to St.
next St.
John.
John's coach.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's just,
Classic program there that used to be, part of that old Big East.
yeah.
Um, really hasn't, fallen off. One of those teams you always felt like should always be better than they are. They're in New
Yeah.
York, a hotbed of talent there.
Mm-hmm.
And they've, had some periods of success.
Yeah, it just hasn't been
But
what you would, one part, when was it coach in the 80s, Lou Carnesecca, and then,
mhm.
they had some good runs there. Was it, I think Mike Jarvis was the coach when they had like Ron Artest on the
Yeah.
team, and had some good
hmm
seasons there, but yeah. hit and miss in between there. Mike Anderson up and down, but not what St. John's was hoping for. So it'll be interesting. And Patino's, no matter what his stuff off the court, I mean, on the court, he wins everywhere he goes. So,
Yeah. So that's probably a good hire for them.
yeah.
Let's see, elsewhere in the world of sports, NBA's rolling on. Nothing really big has happened since uh, we last recorded. It's the less I say about the Pelicans, the better. Um, just falling off. I mean, I guess maybe the good news is that if they miss the playoffs altogether, they might get 2 lottery picks now,
Oh,
or no, because it's a pick swap this year,
yeah.
so they wouldn't even do that. I guess just 2 chances at getting a high pick, but at this point, it's you need to step over that line and not worry about the picks.
Exactly.
You can only amass so much young talent. Did beat Houston tonight though after an embarrassing loss to them the other night. So and still right there. We talk about all this even as far as they fall, and they're only half game back of the Lakers for that last play-in spot, and even so, they're only 2 games back of the Mavericks for the 6th seed.
Exactly. So still
So
still a lot of time. Anything can happen at the back end of that Western Conference for sure.
exactly, and as far as everything's happened there. Even looking at that, they're only 4 games back of Phoenix and the 4th seed. There's a lot of teams in front of them, but that West is just crazy
Yeah,
this year.
so wide open, and it's gonna be could very well be way different once we actually get to April.
Exactly, yeah. Let's see what's going on. Let's see, World Baseball Classic. They've had some fun games going on there. Let's see, it looks like the U.S. are into the final. They beat Cuba tonight. It's a hard tournament to get into just because it doesn't have like tradition or prestige, but the games look fun as hell, man.
Yeah.
Those games in Miami in
Oh
particular.
yeah. I watched.
Um,
I guess more bits and pieces than can't say I watched a whole lot, but what I have, yeah, it's a fun thing.
yeah, it's something that you wish that maybe more stars would play in, or maybe the Major League Baseball could make a break in the middle of the season around the All-Star break or something like
Yeah,
that.
because I mean, it's kind of in a
Mhm,
bad spot for a lot of the stars, just because season's about to start,
mhm,
and you don't want to be the reason why you weren't playing is because that's where you got hurt at.
mhm.
But it's a fun tournament.
Yeah. Anything else, world of sports you want to touch on before we go?
Can't say a whole lot. Just really enjoying March Madness so far. It's lived up to the hype. But other than that, I mean, not a whole lot. I guess I would say the one other thing, similar in a sense to the whole Brandon Miller situation, is with Sean Kemp. They came out and said that he had
Mhm.
involved in a drive-by, originally charged with a drive-by shooting. Ended up being completely different. Some people
Yeah.
broke broke in his car, took his stuff. He tracked the iPhone and figured out where it was, and then they pulled a gun on him, and he had his own gun, which is fine with me. But a completely
Mhm.
different story than what they originally said.
Yeah, and that just speaks to what we talked about earlier. This new era of journalism that's about breaking stories
Yeah,
first instead of getting them right and then putting it out. So it's a sad state of affairs
yeah.
for our former, or at least my degree. Um, but yeah, so with that said, what's been done up real good for you?
Just a good spring break week. Took the kids down to Texas, spent some time with my parents. So we had a pretty good week. How about you?
Kind of same thing, just good. We were down in New Orleans for a few days this past week. The wife had to make an appearance for work. Always fun to get back down there. Hanging around with some family. Dad was in town yesterday to see the grandkid. Spending time with. So we saw all the parents this week. My mom, my dad, her parents. Uh, so yeah, just in general, just good to see family
So,
and some friends and all that. And of course, Alabama
yes,
basketball.
sir.
So
6:30
March
Friday,
Madness. It's always a great time of year.
5:30 Friday night Central Time, San Diego State. So we're Friday.
Oh yeah, I did see that earlier. Forgot to mention it. On the bracket refreshed itself when I was watching. Yep. So like you said, a Friday at 5:30 Central Time on TBS. Alabama plays their next game. See, the Friday games will be that game: Houston, Miami, Xavier, Texas, Princeton, Creighton. And then Thursday's games will be, FAU, Tennessee, Kansas State, Michigan State, Arkansas, UConn, and Gonzaga, UCLA. So another great weekend coming up.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you once again for listening, folks. We're taking on sports here. Be sure to listen to everything we got to offer on the Alabama Take podcast and network. Until next time, Greg, take care,
Yes,
buddy.
sir.